Sam, you want to help take the chain off? Vader, do you want to help take the chain off? I have a pair of pliers. No? Sam, you stick around. You know, early 80s, so needs a little attention. So of these tires here, the two front tires are new. The right rear is new. This one here is old. I have no idea how old this is. Could very well be original. I don't think any of these leak. I haven't checked them in so long. I think recent temperature changes made them just lose a little pressure. Rained a lot recently and kind of had some pretty high highs and some pretty interesting lows. This one might be leaking, but I think it might be leaking around the bead. Unless it picked up a nail or something. But I doubt it. Oh well. Alright, now this chain. The chain has This chain, I realize you can't see my head, but this chain here is adjustable. The tension is adjustable by sliding the axle backwards. And if you look here, there's hardly any room behind the rear tire. There's a lot of room in front of the rear tire. So the axle's been slid back to make the chain tight in the past. And I don't know if it's at the end of its rope, so to speak, with adjustment or what, but that's what we're about to find out. And I just have to figure out the nicest way to go about lifting this. Or might not have to lift it up, but we'll see. Alright, if you look underneath here, you can see what I'm talking about. Here's the chain, which this chain's old and all wore out, but it's okay. It's not broken or anything. This wasn't an issue until it came off, and I can easily put it back on. But that's because there's a lot of slack in it. Alright, that's just way too much. You can see that. And if you look, you can see it over here easier. That's the adjuster. Right? It's slid all the way back. I can't get any more out of this chain, really. Clean that off. Yeah, it's all the way back. So I can't tension the chain. You can see the slack I have here. Not ideal. So, since I know the chain has slack in it and I can't adjust it and tighten it up, I'm just gonna continue mowing the grass. If it pops off, I'll put it back on, and it looks like I'm gonna just have to take the chain off and get a new one. Possibly take a couple links out to see if I can find a link to get it apart, or if I gotta try to take this axle apart. But right now, we're just gonna leave it the way it is. Alright, we're gonna head up to the house and see if we can get wrenches and chain join link pieces if we can. Alright, so we got a whole bunch of miscellaneous things, cotter pins, and valve stem caps, clips. I'm looking for something very specific. Either chain join links. And this is all nuts and bolts. And this is all new nuts and bolts. And then wood hardware. All right. Stay here. All right. All right. The clip broke, but the link is okay. There we go. What do you think, Vader? All right. we go. Alright, so I can get you a little closer to this here. There's the chain. And then there's the issue. The chain link. Or the join link. This piece. Alright, so I got wrenches now. Try to take this apart, or at least adjust it. Let's see, 9/16. There we go. I imagine if you have one of these Cubs, you probably already know how to do this, because owning one of these means you probably like older things and like to work on things. Otherwise, you probably have a new mower. But this does kind of prove a point that obviously wear and tear is a factor, but oh, I'm gonna need a wrench on the other side. I was hoping I could get away with just a ratchet. Oh, but if you have one of these, you probably already know how to work on it because it's older and you like older things. But if you just are looking for, you know, a marketplace mower, these are good mowers. They're little and maneuverable. Lightweight. There we go. All right. Yeah, I was hoping I didn't need 2 wrenches on this. But it's a pretty simple adjustment. But it needs to be made, or else this just won't work. Taking the tires off would have made this a little easier, but uh-oh. I'm gonna end up pulling it off the jack stand. I need 2 hands for this. Alright, it's been a few days. Well, actually, it's been about a week now since we worked on the Cub. Had some other things come up. Fuel pump for the truck. But we did get a new chain. Thought I was just going to shorten the chain, but after looking at it, it was so hammered. I'm going to keep it for a spare to keep something to fix something else, maybe down the road. But there were some stiff spots in it, and just chances are that's going to cause more problems down the road. But we did get got a join link and a new chain. So we can go ahead and put this on, and ideally we will be able to cut the grass without a chain hopping off. Alright, this time. That, we also got an air filter. Alright, this thing, you know, air filter like this for an old Briggs & Stratton, this took probably 2 weeks for this to come in the mail. But we have an air filter we'll be able to put on, and then hopefully be able to finish mowing tonight. Alright, we'll start with the air filter because that's easy. not going to oil it right now. We'll oil it later. Technically, should put air filter oil on it and let it soak up and not be overly saturated, but it should have oil on it. But see, that's what it had in it. All right. Yeah, I'll clean this up a little better another day, but for now, we're just going to get the filter on there. I'm driving up to the house to put oil on it. Chainsaws for another day. This thing's a beast. Weed whacker. That's on the list. Now, pretty sure I showed you the old chain earlier in the video. Taking that off, this is the same process. There we go. I am trying to do this without taking the guard off. There's a chain guard on here. I think, I'm not sure if just one screw holds that on or not. Looks like it. But just trying to put it on without taking that off. And I think I got it. Yep. Now this chain is a link shorter. Alright, right here you can see. Line that chain up. Right there, that is good enough for who it's for. You put the join link on there and slide the axle back, and be ready to change oil. Use a flathead screwdriver to push down on it. There we go. Alright, well, that's not coming back too easy. I might lower it back down on the ground to tighten the axle. Though that is actually, it's better than it was, so let's drop it down after the oil change. And I'll slide the axle forward when it's on the ground. Or rather, I'll slide the axle backwards when it's on the ground. is 5 quarts. Let's put a half a quart in. We'll put 1 full quart in and then check it. I don't have my book that goes back this old at the house. You know how much this takes? Probably 1 1/4. I'm not sure. Ooh, I think I got it right. Here we go. Full. All right, I'm gonna fire it up. Burns a little oil. Other than a flat tire, it seems like it's ready to go. Front left tire is a little flat. All right. Chain seems to be okay. I'll go over in another video what I was doing here, but I can reach back and reach the full throttle adjustment that's under the bowl. And I usually have to do that. I don't know if it's the gas, different gas gets moisture in it, gas sits for a while, the temperature, humidity, depending on how deep the grass is, or how tall the grass is and all that, will determine if I have to adjust it while I'm mowing. But idle, a little bit different with the air cleaner on. It is idling rich, but it also burns a lot of oil, which you can see. So it is tuned rich so it stays running at an idle. What will happen is it'll end up loading up on oil, and then I guess it's just more oil than gas, and it just stops burning and it'll just shut off. So if I noticed if it runs a little rich, it'll keep putting, and you can hear it kind of chugs. It doesn't run. It chugs smoothly, but it's not running smooth, and I know that. That's just part of the compromise with this engine. Seems to run good though. It's supposed to be 8 horsepower, I think, but it might be 5.5 now. It's pretty old. It's I think a 1983. Not sure. Let me know if you know. Early 80s is what this should be. Early 80s Cub Cadet. So it's in good condition for one of these. Needs a bath, I know, it's very dirty. But the fiberglass is actually in good condition, and I want to clean it up and take it to a tractor show next weekend. So, actually this one right here, Williams Grove Historical Steam Engine Association. I'm a member of that, and it went there 2023. That was the first time I had it at a show. I guess that would have been last year. And yeah, it doesn't always go to the shows, but it went to the May show last year.